Welcome to Handknit Goodies podcast. I'm Keisha.
And I'm Gabie. And we're excited to podcast. Why did we decide to podcast, Keisha?
Well, because we're always talking about knitting. We're knitting friends, and we decided to become more involved with the knitting community at large. We wanted to introduce ourselves into the larger knitting community that's on the social media platforms and share what we're knitting and share what we're doing and share our experiences with knitting. And especially me, I'm an explorative knitter, and Gabie here is a more experienced knitter, so that is always interesting for us to get together and talk about.
It is. We just thought it'd be a lot of fun. We see all the podcasters out there. I know I watch a number of them, and Keisha watches some too. And we just thought it would be fun to kind of join that conversation.
Exactly. So we're going to tell you a little bit more about ourselves.
Sure.
How did we get into knitting?
Yes.
You go first.
Okay, I started crocheting. That was my first fiber arts activity, and I was probably like somewhere in the 6 to 8 range. And I did that for a number of years. I enjoyed it. You can make a lot of fun lace patterns with crochet, which I've enjoyed a lot. But then I started knitting in college. Someone taught me how to knit in college, and that year everyone got scarves for Christmas from the cheapest yarn I could find at the fabric store. And after that year I kind of dropped it for a while, took a hiatus, not a lot of time in college. And after that I picked it back up probably when my youngest child, who is now 5.5, she was about 3, and I started to have a little bit more time to myself again. And I wasn't quite as interrupted as I was in all those infant years. And so I was able to pick up knitting again, and I found that it was the perfect creative outlet, because I can pick it up and I can put it down, and it always challenges me. No matter how much I learn, I keep finding new things out and learning more. I broke my foot a few years ago, and it was like the perfect medicine when you can't get up and do anything. So you
that was like how I first met you.
Yeah, so you don't go stir crazy.
Brace thing on.
Yes, and while I was had my foot brace on and couldn't do a lot, I knit that, like my first cabled garment I had ever knit.
Is that the Debbie?
And that's
sweater?
the one that you met me in, and that's how we got connected, is because we're like, oh, fellow knitter.
Yeah, exactly. I got into knitting about 8 years ago, probably 9 years ago now. I've always wanted to learn to knit. My grandmother sewed, and my mom, she used to crochet, but so funny, I recently talked to her, and I never knew that she ever crocheted. She never taught me to crochet.
Did you ever see her?
No, but when I told her I started knitting, I was like, oh, I got this knitting book, and I'm going to learn how to knit through this book. And she was like, oh, I used to crochet. And I was like, why didn't you ever teach me? So I started knitting. I wanted to start knitting when I was pregnant. And, you know, so I could be like pregnant and knitting over my belly.
It would be adorable.
It's just like this image of myself knitting over my pregnant belly. But I never got around to it because I was working. So anyway, I learned to knit through books, and it was really fun, and I did very basic patterns, like scarves. I got into knitting because I like cowls and shawls. So that's basically like what made me want to knit, because I would always look at shawls and cowls and all of that in like Macy's, and I just thought, I need to learn how to knit so I can make these for myself. So yep, that's how I got into knitting, and I used to only knit for everyone else.
Yes, I remember that.
And I started knitting ties for my husband, and he, you know, like, I got another tie for you. He's like, oh, great. But, you know, I can tell, he won't tell me which one is his favorite, because, you know, he wants to make sure that I'm not, I don't know, sensitive or whatever. I'm not, I don't care. But I can tell which one is his favorite, which I'll probably bring it next time. And
I'd like to see it.
There's a green one that I knitted for him, but he never wears it, so I don't know which one is his least favorite. So anyway, yeah, I just recently, like about 2 years ago, started knitting for myself, and that's that's why I started my Instagram handle, 7 Hand Knits. We'll like go into more detail about our Instagram handles later, but it's about my goal to like knit things for myself, because I'm always knitting for my daughter or my husband or my mother or my brother or my niece. So yeah, that's it.
Well, I guess now might be a good time to do the Instagram handles and why they are what they are. Mine is Gabie's Goodies. I started that name. My husband actually suggested it back when I used to do a lot of baking. I would make cakes and cupcakes and sell them for a while. And this was before I had my third child. And then when she came into the picture, I didn't have enough time. Baking was a great creative outlet for me, but it takes so much time right before you sell it or give it away, and you can't exactly knit that a month in advance, or you can't exactly make that in a month in advance like you can with knitting. It's not time sensitive. So I kind of gave up the baking, and then when I started my Instagram, I figured, knits are goodies too, so I can still be Gabie's Goodies.
Right, your hand-knit goodies.
Yes, that's right.
7 Hand Knits. I'm 7 Hand Knits, spelled out S-E-V-E-N, Hand Knits, on Instagram. It's I just started it like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. And I just decided to do that because I was just thinking of like what I wanted to knit, and decided to knit 7 items for myself, that I can have in my archive or whatever, that I really love. So it kind of expanded. I thought, I can knit 7 sweaters, and anything goes in that category with sweaters. Yes. Like cardigans will go in there, and it's not going to just be all the same type of sweater, obviously, but and then shawls and cowls, because I like that. I probably won't be knitting 7 hats. I'm just not a hat wearer. No. Like I'm more, if I wear any accessory on my head, it's usually like headbands or like a scarf headband, or a scarf that I turn into a headband. So I probably won't be adding hats to that, but my goals are just to have like 7 cowls. I like 7 sweaters. I like 7 pairs of socks. Because you know what I realized, whenever I'm wearing something hand knitted, not hand knitted, but something knitted that I purchased at the store, people always ask me, like, you go into like whatever, like Barnes and Noble or something, they're like, that's so nice, did you knit that? And I'm like, no, but I do knit. I do knit. But when I'm wearing what I've knitted, no one asks, ever. Really? No one. And I told my husband, I was like, why is it that when I'm wearing something I've made, no one asks? But then, there's 2 times someone asks, but like it's usually all the time no one.
Maybe that's because you don't have a lot of sweaters that you've knit yet.
But like you would think like scarves and shawls,
would ask.
I don't know. And he said, well, maybe it's because what you knit, looks so professional. He was trying to like.
It could be it.
That's the positive outlook. Or it could just be like, it doesn't look great and nobody cares. I don't know.
I think people ask me, and that could be because like whenever I go to my kids' activities, I always bring my knitting. I always have something in my purse to knit. And so if I'm wearing like a sweater and knitting at the same time, then they'll ask. So it's, they see me knitting. So.
Like, oh, you're knitting. Oh, did you knit what you're wearing?
Yeah, exactly. All right, I guess... Speaking of what we're wearing, we can talk about that next. Okay, so finished objects.
Okay, you go first.
This is Caitlin Hunter's Sunset Highway, and I knit this a year and a half, 2 years ago, something like that. And it's my first ever colorwork sweater. I love this. This is probably one of my favorites. And I wore it today, even though it's a little bit warm for it today outside, because the colors are so springy, and I know it's going to get hotter, and I won't be able to wear it on any recent upcoming podcast. So again, Caitlin Hunter of Boyland Knitworks, and this is the Sunset Highway sweater. I loved the colors that she chose for her sample, but I couldn't afford the yarn that she had on her sample. So I actually went on Knit Picks, and using all the little images online, I picked out all of these colors of, I think it's their Hawthorne sock yarn.
Oh yeah, I like those.
I'll see if they still have them up there and if I can find the colors that I used and maybe put that in the information below. But I had speckles, and the orange was a little brighter than I expected, but I still love it. I love this like a kind of aqua tonal that I used. I just think it turned out really well.
It did.
Let's see if you can see all the colors. And it kind of had that rustic look that she had with the way the yarn kind of is tonal and, I don't know, changes a little bit. See, I don't know what else to say about it. I think I knit a medium because I wanted it to be plenty oversized, and it definitely is. I don't know how much positive ease it was supposed to have, but it's got a good bit. But it's very, very easy to wear and comfy, and makes me happy because it's cheerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is a cowl. I'm just gonna take it off. I don't feel like I can talk about this and take it off. All right, so this is a cowl. This is my brochure I put on there. And this is, almost fell. It is a Simply Soft, well, no, it's not. It was on, the pattern was on a skein of Simply Soft Karen yarn. I used Lion Brand Smoky Mountain. Okay, I can probably take it out. I used Lion Brand Smoky Mountain yarn. I like Lion Brand yarns, and I used their Smoky Mountain yarn to make this. And okay, so the pattern was like an 8-row repeat, and it was just fun. It's, as you can see, it's just knits and purls alternated. And
it looks like a kind of a basket weave.
Yeah, it was really fun to knit this and knit it up really quickly. And I watched what's her name? Stitching Over the Days. I watched maybe 4 of her podcasts in a row as I was knitting this. Yeah, so that's it.
I like it.
Is there something else I should say about this?
Do you know what color it is? It's
Smoky Mountains. It's called Great Smoky Mountains Lion Brand yarn.
Is it acrylic or wool mix?
Yeah, it's acrylic. It's probably acrylic. I'm always using acrylic yarn.
I know you like that.
Yeah. All right, so that's it for what we're wearing.
Yes. Do you have any other finished objects?
Nope.
No.
Do you?
I do.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so I've started designing my own stuff.
Better in person.
Thanks. And this is my most recent design and finished object. And let's see if I can show it. It's a raglan top-down sweater for spring, summer wearing. And it has a lace pattern that is down the front and the back. Back is the same. And I made it out of fingering weight yarn by Sweet Georgia. I found her on Instagram. Tough Love Sock. This main speckled colorway is called Cranberries in the Snow. So if you want to see, I don't know if you can see that or not. And then the darker, kind of contrasting one is called Violet. I purchased 3 skeins of it, and I have this much left over. This color turned out a little more purple than I expected. I thought it'd be a little more brown cranberry, like what's in this. But after finishing it and balancing out that bottom fade with the sleeves, I really love it. And I will probably wear this next podcast.
Yep.
I have written up the pattern for a small, which is what this is, and I've almost finished grading it for medium, and I'm working on a large, hopefully an extra large, and a small size. Grading is another one of those learning experiences I'm having with knitting. I love to kind of design and create my own stuff, and I'm really, it's been interesting to learn the difference between like designing for yourself and designing for a pattern that's in multiple sizes for other people.
Right.
I'm definitely learning that you have to take into account all of the sizes before you design your own for yourself, because like especially this, it's called a swirling lace pattern. I thought it was really fun with the speckled yarn, but it's actually a 16 row or 16 stitch repeat, and then like a 32 row repeat, which I didn't realize how difficult that would be when going up and down in sizing. So I'm learning a lot. I have one tester already for the size small. So she's knitting a small, and then I have someone who's going to knit the medium. I'm going to send that to her hopefully in the next day or two.
Good.
So it's very exciting. It's also very humbling when they point out your mistakes and you realize how much you missed when you were writing it up. And,
yeah, that is so cute.
It's an interesting process. I'm learning a lot, and yeah. Oh, I'm on Ravelry too. Did we mention that? Instagram.
Oh, I don't.
Same name.
Yeah, I never log into my Ravelry. I don't. You can tell them yours. I don't have.
Yeah, it's Gabie's Goodies, just like my Instagram handle. And I have a couple of patterns up there. I'm just a new learning designer. Hopefully it'll work out and I'll keep going. My goal for designing and selling patterns is to make enough money to buy expensive yarn.
Yeah. Speaking of yarn. All right, so we're gonna go on to whips.
Yes.
So the first whip, I'll quickly talk about this because the second one I have a little.
I love this.
Oh, I got this at Michael's.
Did you? It's so cute.
Yes, it's a whip bag from Michael's.
That's adorable. Love it.
I picked up quite a few. I went a little crazy in there. As you can see, I really like this yarn. I just like it. And it's acrylic, of course. You were talking about yarn and
this is from, did you get it at Michael's?
No, probably
Joanne
Moore or something.
Moore.
Or Joanne. But I am starting to explore yarns, more. Yeah, I'm starting to realize what I like. And I'll talk about that next. But this is a whip, and it's a shawl.
Oh, it's cute.
And let me get closer. Wait, let me hide my knit stitch mistake first.
I don't think we'll be able to see it.
All right. So it's a little baby shawl right now.
It's showing up kind of blue. It's definitely
I know,
purple.
and it's definitely purple. Yeah. All right. Let me sit down. This is the Wise Hilda's basic triangular shawl, and it is on Ravelry.
Okay.
Yeah. So I like this. I've knitted this shawl before, and it's advertised as a mindless knit, but I guess I was a little too mindless when I knitted it the first time, so I wanted to give myself a chance to knit it again. I really, really like this simple pattern. It's just this cute, every 8 rows you do like this cute garter stitch sort of trim. And I'm gonna knit this one really big because I like for my shawls to just wrap around and around and be big. So there's that. And then the second whip is this sweater that I'm playing around with. I need to put sleeves on it. But this is just a test design. I'm playing around with designing this sweater. So
let's continue to talk about whips after our technical difficulties.
Yeah, we have some technical difficulties. All right, so this is a design in progress. I knitted this with some very inexpensive yarn because whenever I'm playing around with designs, I don't want to play around with my good yarn. So this is, and you know this is hot, so
it would be very warm.
Okay, so what I did here was I knitted this in 2 pieces, and then I seamed the sides, and I did an eyelet design here where this is what we call the yoke, right? Mm-hmm. And so what I would do differently is I think I want to knit it in the round and make this a little bit more precise, the eyelet across. I would definitely choose a different yarn for the final design, and I would definitely do something different with this neckline. So I basically like to play around with designing for myself, just to see like what I like, because sometimes I look through patterns and I think, oh, I like this, but I don't like that part, and I think about ways to modify it, but I never get around to it. So and so when I knit this, I'm going to re-knit this. I'm going to go back in and add the sleeves. I'm just going to pick up stitches, add about a 3/4 inch sleeve, simple stockinette with the rib cuff, and be done with it. I'm going to block it and just wear this around the house, not in public.
And when it's really cold.
And when it's really cold and you're cozy.
Yeah,
and you have your, you wear like your leggings or whatever around the house, and you have like a cozy sweater, and that's what this will be. This is how I wear my knit design in progress things that I've finished. I don't wear them in public. I want to be seen because I know what's wrong with it.
Oh, so, but I think other people will probably not find anything wrong with it.
And I just embrace what's wrong. Like, you see how, let me get a little closer. So you see how I have these eyelets, and you see how this is all like, ooh, that looks good. And then over here it starts zigzagging, and I just wanted it to zig. I didn't want it to zag, So I'm gonna rework that.
Zig but not zag.
Yeah, that's zagging over there. Now maybe you can be like, oh, I meant for that to happen.
What you're saying. Yeah, I thought you did mean for it to happen, but I see over here it didn't. Okay. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, see, that's all like, ooh, and that's like, what's going on? And so when I reknit this, I'm gonna reknit it with Lion Brand's Touch of Alpaca. All right. I don't know if that's even, does it feel good?
I haven't used that one before.
I like it, and it is, I probably should have looked at this
I like
before.
the color. I like that pink.
Yes, I love pink.
It's not bright, it's that kind of muted pink.
I love pink. This is actually called Blush.
Blush,
and
that's the right color.
I really love pink. It's my favorite color.
Yeah.
I love all the ranges of pink. Bright pink,
I feel like your shirt's kind of blush.
Yes, blush.
Yes, I like
so yeah, I'm going to reknit it with this and take notes. And if it becomes something, like if someone sees it and they're like, oh, that's nice, I'm like, okay, I'll write up a pattern and let you test it, and but I won't jump ahead.
You'll get down the pattern writing rabbit hole like me.
Yeah. I know that's going to take a lot of learning, so I'm not in a hurry to do that.
I'm still on that uphill swing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any more whips?
Nope. That's it.
I have, let's see. So, speaking of pattern writing, I finished the other one, and I'm working on finishing that pattern. So, of course, I had to put something else on my needles. So, summer's coming. It's April now, and the weather's warming up, so I thought cotton would be perfect.
Yes.
So, this is just I think this came from Michael's. It's called I Love This Cotton. It's very soft.
Mm-hmm.
It says super soft.
Can I touch it?
Absolutely. And let's see.
It is soft.
It's looking for ivory. It's ivory color and 100% cotton.
Mm-hmm.
It's very soft. And it's not a super thick yarn, but it suggests a size 8 needle, and so that's what I tried, and it did work out. I thought it would be, I thought it was a little thinner than that, but it's not. So it's going to be 2 pieces, kind of like what you just did,
mm-hmm.
And then seamed together. This is the bottom hem.
I have a question.
Yes.
With doing a design
Yes.
like this, is it better? Do you find that it's easier to do it 2 pieces because you're doing a design instead of in the round?
In a way, yes.
Okay.
My this one that I designed in the round, intentionally top down raglan. But I have knit sweaters that way before from other designers, and I've also done, like, this is a yoked sweater where it has even increases in the yoke all the way around, and this is seamless and top down as well.
Yeah.
So I think it really just depends on what you're used to.
Okay.
In some ways, 2 pieces makes it easier because I don't know, you don't have to worry about evening out. You don't have to worry about all of the stitches on the whole garment working out. You work one piece and then the other piece.
Right.
It's more like sewing that way, if you're more used to sewing. If that makes any sense.
I don't sew, but
okay, so this is the bottom of the hem, and I've done, if you've seen Joji Locatelli's shawl that she did a little while ago with those drop stitches, I really loved those drop stitches with that crisscross drop stitch pattern, so I thought it would be really fun to put that at the bottom of the garment. And then the rest of it, you can see I've just started it, these little eyelets, so it's going to have eyelets all over the rest of it. And it's just going to be short sleeves, and the rest of it from here up is just going to have stockinette with eyelets throughout it, so it'll be very breezy and light and easy to wear in the summer.
that's cute.
And I hopefully am getting smarter about my pattern writing, and I've gone ahead and done my Excel sheet with my numbers and the bust sizes from extra small to extra large, and so I have most of my numbers for everything already laid out. So, so when I go to actually write it all up, I'm actually hoping to finish writing it up before I finish knitting it, because I've written the pattern basically from the hem to the underarm, and then I have my numbers worked out in my Excel file from here to the top. So I just need to write the rest of it. So I'm hoping to work that way this time, as opposed to knitting the garment and then trying to work the pattern.
Right.
I'm going to see if that works out a little easier for me. So hopefully this will be ready to test before too long. Excuse me, that's my phone. So
There you go.
that's,
I really like that.
thank
So
you.
can you explain what's going on here?
So these are drop stitches. What you do is you you put the needle into your stitch, your next stitch, and then, here, maybe I can even show it. You put the needle into your next stitch, and then you wrap it 4 times, and then you pull it out, and you do that for every stitch except for the very first one. And then when you come back through on the next round, you're going to just knit this one stitch, and it drops off and makes that long thing. Does that make any sense? You knit one stitch into those wrapped stitches.
Maybe
so
do
it
a
makes
tutorial.
yeah.
After you write up the pattern,
I probably will.
and you can do a tutorial on the. Maybe if someone buys the pattern, and
Yes.
then if they're
I can put a
stuck
link in
on
the
that.
pattern. Yes, I plan on doing that. And I can't remember what the stitch is actually called. I will have to look that up. But then it's almost like a just a cable. So you cross over those stitches that you dropped, or that you did a yarn over, multiple yarn overs, and then you only stitched one stitch in it. So you don't actually change the number of stitches you have. You just make these long stitches
got it.
that you then cross
It's gonna
over.
be so cute. I can't wait to see it.
I'm excited about it too, because the weather's getting warm, and so I want to wear it when it gets warm.
So you know what? I'm
Yes.
so glad you showed me that, because that gives me a good idea for dream knitting. That's our next. Oh, I'm sorry. You
I do.
still
I have
another
one
one. Okay.
more whip, which I've had in my purse for a really long time. I like to have knitting wherever I go, always. And so I started knitting some socks, which this is the third pair of socks I've ever done, but the first pair for myself.
Oh.
And I used yarn that I had, and I thought I had plenty of both colors of yarn.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, here's the first one. It's just a simple 2x2 rib at the top, and then I changed this gray yarn that's a little more rustic, so it's nice and durable. I did heel flap and gusset on the heel, and then I really like how sports socks have that tight band around here. Well, like, you know, sporty socks you buy.
Oh.
So I actually did the same thing that's on the heel flap, that stitch. I did it here around where the instep is of my foot, so it's a little tighter there. And I really love how that fits. So then I go and do the second sock, and I am almost done with this
You said the
second sock.
You were yelling at me like, second sock.
Well, no, I think I'm yelling at the sock, actually. You'll see why. So I go and do the second sock, and I'm here at this gray part, and then I run out of gray. And so at this very toe, I have to have the cream color instead of the gray. I really thought I had plenty of yarn.
You know what? That's
Isn't that hilarious though? So one sock is going to be white-toed, and the other sock
No one's
is
ever
going
gonna
to
see
be. That's true.
But you know what
It's
I
funny.
noticed? When you buy socks at Target and they come in pairs,
Yes.
they're not the same anymore. Like,
I've heard that's a trend.
yeah,
But this was unintentional.
right. But it's okay because it works with the trend.
Yeah.
No one's ever gonna see that.
No one's gonna see that. I do
Yes.
really like how they fit though. I'm really excited because this is my first pair of socks for myself.
Oh, good.
So I'm excited. So yes, that's all my whips.
All right. So you want to talk about your dream knitting or what you're looking
Dream
at to
knitting?
knit next?
My
Isn't that's what dream knitting means,
Yes.
right? Okay.
So I have my cotton shirt. That's what I'm most excited about getting finished now and wearing. And then I would like to get some more Lindy chain yarn from Knit Picks. It's a 70% linen, 30% cotton, and it's made in like a chain type stuff. I think Quinson Company also has a similar type linen yarn, and it gives it more, almost more elasticity because of the way it's chained up in the yarn. I used it last summer for some stuff, and I really loved it. And I think I actually want to make like a summer linen shawl. I think that would be fun. So I can still wear my shawls in the summer.
Are you gonna do your own pattern, or do you have a pattern?
My own pattern, most likely.
I should have this ready. Is that it for your dream knitting?
At the moment.
Okay. I have two dream knitting things because that's mostly what I do with knitting. I dream.
That's what's
And
about,
so-
right?
I always have like 3 whips. I'm down to just having 3 whips at a time because I like to have something easy to grab to take along. I'm never knitting a sweater like in public because usually if I'm trying to knit a sweater, I need to be looking at the pattern and I need to focus more. All right, so like I'll have 3 whips going on at a time. That was the point. So when you were just talking about your cotton yarn,
Yes.
I want to knit this Gabie Bliss t-shirt or whatever. I think it's a blouse. It's not a t-shirt. And this came with her yarn. It was a nice surprise. She even says, "Oh, I hope you don't mind me sneaking into your little package," which I thought was cute. And I want to knit this.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I have time. It will probably take me about, if I focus on it and knit it like every day, it will I can't talk. It will probably take me a month. Let's be real.
Yeah,
a month.
that's about right for
A month.
yarn.
If I focus on it
You
and don't
focus.
knit anything else and do it every day for at least 2 hours. I think I can get it done.
I am sure that you can.
So
You're
I've been
that dedicated.
I need some yarn recommendations. You think
Okay.
the cotton would work? And I don't want to do
have
it in
read
the white color. I want to
Yeah.
do it in pink.
Yeah, a blush. That would be nice. It probably would. You just need to look at the your gauge
Okay.
to see. Like it'll say, like this actually tells you if you're knitting on a US 8, it'll give you 18 stitches per 4 inches.
Yeah.
And so see how that compares to your suggested needles and gauge in your pattern. And that'll help you pick your yarn.
All right, that'll
So
work.
say, if y'all are curious about that, on most of your yarn packages, especially like the store-bought ones, see if focus on that.
Notice it always
It'll
says
actually
suggested.
tell you your a suggested gauge and suggested needles on there.
And the second dream knitting is in my it's from my Debbie Bliss Creative Cables book.
I love that book.
Yes, and I want to knit this. It's called the Folded Front Vest, but it's more, it looks like a cardigan to me. And I want to knit that out. I've already ordered my yarn. I have it, but I'm not gonna start this anytime soon. I don't know why that made me laugh. I'm gonna start this like August because you need it for fall and winter.
Yeah.
So I need to focus on the shirt, you know, the blouse and something else that I started. Like I'm gonna, ow. Okay, so I want to focus on like redoing this and then knitting that Debbie Bliss blouse that I just showed.
Yeah.
So that will be my 2 whips. So
Yeah. I don't know what I'll actually cast on after my cotton one. We'll see. I need to order yarn, I think. Or I'll stash dive and see what I have.
It's nice to run out because at least you know you're using everything.
And then you can go buy more.
Exactly. I like to run out. So
I need to get a mindless knit on my needles. Something that I can have in my purse all the time. So
most of my mindless knits are shawls because they're usually like 2-row repeats until you get to like the 8th row where you have to do something special. So I usually memorize the pattern and don't need to have to take it along. But so I'm always grabbing, like I don't take socks with me to knit because it's like I knit on double pointed needles and you know, they get, you know, it just gets, and you have to take so much stuff with you, so yeah.
All
But I
right.
think that's it.
That's it for today. Yay.
Thank you for watching and being with us. Thank you for watching Handknit Goodies. And
We'll hopefully see you soon.
yes.
Bye.
Bye. I didn't mean to move
There
your
you go.
hand.
There we go. It's
Yeah.
recording.
Okay.
Here, so we can do this again. All right. More to do. We good?
Okay, the numbers are moving.
All right.
I use very inexpensive yarn. Like this is should I even call red card out like that?
Yeah,
But
yeah, sure.
this is on sale for like what?
All
I
right.
think that's it.
That's it for today. Yay.
So thank you for watching.
Hand knit goodies.
I'm gonna say
Our
that again.
podcast?
I'm gonna say that
Go
again.
for it.
Just edit